first. All right. So good afternoon. Thanks for joining me. I realize, as I said, we're probably not going to have a lot for this particular session because not everybody's taking the test. So not everybody needs to come in for the review on the practice test. So I assume that most of the people who are not here are either okay and comfortable with the practice test already, or are going to be taking or doing the project instead. So if you are here and are doing the project, you're welcome to stay, but this is not necessarily something the project people will need to complete. So let's first take a look at what I just posted. I know I said in the EDSB thing for this week that I would post it after class, but they've moved our meeting to after this, so I went ahead and posted it right before class here. So let me share that screen of what I just shared, and let's check this chat real quick. All right, no problem, Hannah. So what we have, what I just posted is your practice test key. So you can refer to that as you're working today. What we're going to do is I'm going to let you guys unmute yourselves. I'll leave that option open today, and we'll just work in this main room. If we need to, just transfer everybody over to a breakout room if we want to be able to share screens or things like that. But let's take a look at what I posted there so you can see it, and we'll kind of use it as reference today when people have questions as well. So you've got your 4 pages. Sorry about this first page. My dog decided he wanted to spill my coffee, so we got little coffee spots on it. But these 4 pages have the work and some explanations as well. So as you work through these things, hopefully that will help you obviously not only check your answers, but understand why those answers are what they are, okay? So all we're gonna do in class today then is, as I said, we're gonna work together through that. So as you work through it, I'm gonna leave your mics open so you can ask questions, and I'm gonna leave everybody in the same room with the ability to unmute yourselves, and so you can see what I'm sharing with everybody at the same time. So rather than being into separate rooms where I'm only sharing it with the people in that room, we're gonna just work from this main room today since it doesn't look like we got that many people. Anyway, so Kellen sent me a question, is the test gonna be exactly like this? Well, I mean, this is obviously a paper test versus the online test for Socrative, so it won't be identical. The whole thing on Socrative will be either multiple choice for the most part. It's mainly multiple choice. There are a few true-false questions, and I think I'm going to have like just a handful, maybe 2 or 3 open response questions where the open response has a specific answer. Like, for example, one of the open response questions is, what's the vertex of this function? So you would put it in specific, there's only one answer. So it can't be like you're putting it in, you know, in some weird way. It's going to be put in exactly as a coordinate point. And that will be how that is. So there's going to be a couple of open response, a couple true, false. Everything else primarily will be multiple choice. Okay, so if you're solving a quadratic equation, the multiple choice answers will just be your solutions, okay? So good question, Kellen. Let me go over here to Jules real quick. Jules, you're gonna unmute yourself. What's your question?
I have a couple questions, but for the test, is it gonna be like Mr. Reese's test was?
Where you have to be in Zoom?
Yeah, and there's like an instructor with us?
Yep.
And then, do you know like how many people are taking the test and how many people are taking the project, like an estimate?
I don't have responses from everybody at this point. It's about half and half for the people who have responded. So I would assume that that will probably continue. I'm thinking at this point, if people haven't said that they're doing the project, they're probably doing the test. But I think I only have, let me just double check real quick. I think I only have maybe 40 responses out of the 59 algebra students. So let me just double check and see if anything's been updated since I last looked at that this morning. Let's see, I have, come on, computer. Yeah, I have 44 responses at this point. So I'm still waiting on another, dozen or so at least. But again, if people don't respond by Friday that they're doing the project, then they are taking the test. So, but yeah, it's about half and half right now.
Okay, thank you.
All right, any other questions? Lily asks if we're gonna need to keep our cameras on during the test. Yes, please. All right, that will hopefully eliminate people using things like photomath and stuff like that on their phone. Paisley sent me a question earlier this week asking if you could have scrap paper, and the answer to that is yes, certainly. I'm not expecting you to solve all of these in your head or only using your calculator. So you're able to have scrap paper, you're able to have the calculator as well. But we just want to avoid phone usage, and that's why we ask you to have your camera on. So let's see here. Chase, I'll send you a message on that separately, okay? So good question for you, but I'll send you a message specifically on that one, okay? All right. Any other questions that people have before? I'm just going to stop the recording. Otherwise, then we'll just go ahead and let people kind of work through pieces of this or ask questions about things if you've already started work on it, where you have questions. All right. So if we don't have any other questions, I'm going to go ahead and stop that recording, and we'll go ahead and get into the work on this practice test. So